Hello. I am super excited for this conversation today. If you are new here, my name is Sophie Jones. I'm a business coach and breathwork facilitator. I work with entrepreneurs, executives, high achievers, people that are really looking to grow their business, but also become aware of the blind spots, the gaps in their business, identify those, move, take massive action, and heal their nervous system while doing that. So I've been doing this work for 4 years, and who we have joining us today is somebody that is a powerful woman. She is a business owner, a mom, a wife. She works in real estate, and I've just admired how she's put herself out there, how she's been growing her own brand, and just who she is, right? Like, I think for women in business, we just admire other powerful women. And so, okay, without further ado, here's Jess. Here she comes. I think she's joining. Okay,
Hi.
we meet again. I'm
Oh
so
my gosh.
excited.
I am so excited to be on this live with you right now. I've been looking forward to this ever since we started talking about it. So thank you so much for having me.
Oh, of course. Thank you for saying yes. So I was just giving a small intro, but I was saying, you are somebody that I admire as powerful women and people like that have, I don't know, we'll say as powerful women that have goals and ambitions
Mhm.
and, are like, hey, love you so much, but get out of my way. I'm here to do big stuff.
Sounds like me.
Right?
Sounds like us. Yes,
Yeah.
absolutely.
And also manage everything that comes along with that. I wanted to just first just say, like, I admire what you're doing and how you're growing and going. But this is a powerful
Thank you.
conversation where we're going to talk about where you're at, how you manage it all, what happens when you don't feel maybe the most powerful, how you get back into the state of feeling better,
Okay.
and and really like what drives you. So let's start there. What drives Jess? Like, where did you start and say, you know what? I don't want to be average.
Mm.
I don't want a 9 to 5. I don't want to, or maybe you had one. I don't know
Yeah.
your history. So tell me.
Okay, so I feel like every agent, our real estate agent, has a very similar backstory. We were all bartenders at one time in our lives.
Totally.
Yes,
I
exactly.
was a server. Yeah, but
Yes,
whatever.
same thing, same thing. So I kind of learned that lesson really early on that the harder you work, the more money you make. And if you're really good to the people who come to see you and visit you often, then they're going to come back and they're going to bring their friends. So it was kind of like that was a small seed planted early in my, I guess, career, don't like whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just started doing that. But really just, I mean, what drove me was I have a daughter. She's 16, and I wanted her to have someone that she was proud of. Like I wanted her to be very proud of me. And not that saying being a server or a bartender, you can't be proud of what you're doing at that point, but it wasn't fulfilling enough for me to say that I want her to be able to look up to me and say, mom did this and wanted to be the best at everything. I'm a very competitive person in general, so I knew no matter what I did,
You?
I was
That
going to
seems
try to
so
be, I know,
weird.
I was going to try to be the best at whatever I was doing.
Yeah.
So really, I mean, that's just kind of what it kind of threw me into this whole crazy real estate world and just kind of getting connected with people who were showing me it can be done. And I know that we'll kind of jump into that a little later, but that's really, I attribute a lot of the success that I have today because of the people that believed in me and were showing me, hey, if I can do it, you can. And that's so huge. And that like fitting those people in your life and letting them mentor you and speak into your life is a game changer. So I know I kind of went off on a little tangent on
Oh, I
that part,
love
but
that.
that's
I
kind of where I'm
totally
at.
love that. So did you just meet someone in real estate? Like when were you like, oh, wait a second, this is a real opportunity for me?
So funny story. So as I was bartending, there was a regular that came in and he's like, you'd be really good at real estate. And I thought everyone in my town is an agent. I'm not going to be one of those thousands that are here. But it kind of planted a seed. So I was like, okay, maybe it is something I could look into.
Right.
So one of my childhood friends, I played t-ball with her when I was growing up, and she's a very successful real estate agent still to this day. And sat down with at lunch with her, and she was very honest. She's like, it's not easy. It's not always fun. It's going to be a lot of hard work, but I think you can do it. And I thought, okay, this was not exactly how I thought it was going to go. So that's it, really. I mean, she just, again, she connected with me with an agent, Rebecca. Her name was Rebecca Harding then.
Oh, I
And
know her. Yeah, we know
yeah,
her. Yeah.
yes,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
she is. Oh my gosh, I owe her everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, she showed me. She was the one who really
Ah,
planted the seed and was
it
like,
makes me
I
love
can,
her more. If she
I
catches
know.
this
Oh,
live, shout out Rebecca. Yeah.
I'll make sure she
I'm
sees
gonna
it.
tag her in the comments so that
Please
she can.
do. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh. Yeah, and I tell her this every single conversation her and I have. I say, you changed my life, but you didn't just change mine, you ripple effect. You changed my life, my family's life, and all the agents that I'm able to help. Like just that one person has been able to change so much in so many people. So I'm so grateful for her.
Oh, okay, love that. Okay, that's amazing. And you don't really realize. I have like two funny stories that are coming to mind, but I don't want to go off on a tangent. But I mastered, I'm going to tell one of them just briefly because you're going to laugh. But so, I mastered cold calling and all the things. And Rebecca and I used to be in role play in
Oh,
the morning together with Jeff Leslie. So, yeah, we were like in each other's real estate universe with Mike Ferry and all that. And when I was in Houston in my last iteration of selling real estate the fourth time, it was a huge Keller Williams. There's like 650 agents. And on the first floor, it's like all the new agents and they have me come down there
oh my
and
gosh.
like cold call, like to show them like, hey, look, like this is
Yeah.
possible because they're trying to, and then they would like have me talk to them. And
Oh
I
man.
would just be so like, I just remember like two times. And then finally this guy Diego was like, listen, you can't say that to them. And I'm literally like, somebody needs to be very honest. And I was like, listen,
Yeah.
real estate is going to punish you before it pays you. I was like I
Oh,
would
that's
tell those
so
people, I was
good.
like,
That's it.
you have to understand
Mm,
it is a game of how bad do you want it?
yeah.
You are all in massive learning curve. It's good. It's like, and I was like, 80% of you are out the first year and 90 the second. So look around here.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I just
Ooh.
remember Diego grabbing me and being like, and I probably had like gone to lunch and had too many glasses of wine and like went in there and was like,
You're like, let me tell
yeah,
you.
like when I was still drinking. But the reality was me doing a big favor for them because I think
Hmm.
we glamorize real estate. And I certainly had a ton of freedom and opportunity, but it is a full-time gig.
It
And we
is.
need people that are like, and if you want to do it and be successful, you want to be competitive and you want to hone your skills. It's just it's different. So I'm so glad that she was able to be honest and you were like, yeah, I can
Yeah,
do this.
100%. And something that you kind of touched on there too, and something that I didn't even kind of posted about today because I'm so passionate about having the right mentor in your life, is that just because someone is doing so well in their career,
Yeah.
they could be if they're crumbling behind the scenes. Like I feel as though you need to find someone that is a mentor that has it all together. And
Yeah.
not everyone has all the pieces together. So I'm not saying that you have to find like the perfect person to mentor you.
Mm.
But I've met so many people in this career that on the outside, they have it all together. They have the nice cars, the nice
Yeah.
houses, they are selling a ton of real estate, but behind the scenes, they are miserable. So I
Yeah.
feel like you have to be able to find, and thank God I've been able to really implement that into my own life is finding the people that are happy in life and have great health and fitness
Yeah.
and not only in just their career, kind of having it all together and being able to implement all of that. Because no matter how successful you are, and you teach this every
Yeah.
day, no matter how successful you are, if everything behind the
This is
scenes
how
is
I make a
miserable,
living.
what's it worth?
This
I
is
know
one of
this
the
is it.
main problems I solve for people. But yeah.
Yes. And
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, like all the success in the world, you can have it, but if it's not fulfilling for you and everything is falling behind the scenes, what cost is
Yeah.
that? So it's. But I will say it's taken a lot longer to try to find that balance, and God knows I'm still finding it. I've even messaged you last night, like I'm still finding the balance of trying to be the best version of myself. But so often, like you said, people drop out of it because either A, it's too hard, or it just takes up too much of one space and not another. So
Yeah. And it's something that I've realized as I'm developing, or develop the 1% method and you're coming to the mastermind tomorrow
absolutely.
or the master class and 3 days of coaching. And like, I think that is what I've really realized for whether you're in real estate or really any other profession that pays you on performance.
Hmm.
Because anyone that's in that we got some things in our past that we are trying to overperform. And so that is why I think people that are really overdeveloped, like we'll see, like that was me, like 2018, I joke like the devil wears Prada, like that was my vibe. Like, you know what I
Yes,
mean?
that's me.
But behind the scenes,
Yeah.
I had a drinking problem, toxic men, like just my whole life was falling apart. And I just remember thinking, why is this so common for these really, really successful identities? Like, why do we have such a huge, and it's because we're rewarded for that and we like that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We like our
Right.
ego, we like all of that. But if we don't start to find joy and fulfillment, that's when, like you're saying, it doesn't, the cost and the benefit don't match up. And we usually get into some type of self-sabotaging behavior. You don't have to be doing what I was doing.
Yeah.
But, all these people hire me and they're like, I'm like, how you doing? And they're like, great. I'm like, are you? And they're like,
so
can
great.
I tell you what's really going on? I'm like, yeah, I think you should.
Yeah.
Right. And so speaking to mentorship, people that, I think what's so powerful is people that say, I don't have it all together, but I'm willing to be honest about that and I'm working on it. Like what you just said versus, I have it all. And I think balance, there's just areas of life. I don't know if you watched Stacy. She's a successful real estate agent, but she said something that I was like, oh, that's so simple and so brilliant. She said, because he said, how do you manage it all? Because she's a mom, wife, all the things. And she said, I just look at like my life as 4 buckets. And she's like, if I feel like one of my buckets has too much water, like let's say my real estate, I try to go distribute into my wellness, my self-care, my children, my marriage. Like, how can I put some more? And I was like, oh, because she's like, if I go and do acts in those areas, then it's never really about balance. It's just more about like, oh, I need to show up just a little bit more in these areas to feel like, yeah, I felt like that was like brilliant.
It is, because just like we were just saying, you can be so successful in one area, but if you can just, like you said, kind of move it on over down the line, you can still be successful. And it's not like you have to take your foot off the gas, as though you've told me before. You don't have to take your foot off the gas. It's just like, hey, maybe we just need to realign it a little bit and just try to figure out what lane do I really need to be in right now. So, it's kind of maybe not only even redirecting your focus. It's just knowing that, okay, I am doing really well in this. Let me start focusing on a little bit of this over here as well.
Totally. So let's talk about that and redirecting your lane, because you've gone, so I believe you're in some type of leadership, right? Are you mentoring? Tell me what's going on with your,
Yeah, so I mentor new agents that come in, and I think that it's so rewarding and so challenging all at the same time, because just like you said, it's like I feel as though I'm the rude awakener for a lot of them. Like, hey, I know you just think it's all going to fall in your lap, and it's not, and it's going to take a lot longer than what you think it is, but consistency, showing up every day, even when it's tough and when you don't, it's key to this whole shenanigans that we're doing here. But yeah, I'm mentoring new agents just because I was mentored, and I feel as though she poured so much into me. I kind of owe it to everybody else to show that it can be done, because it was life-changing for me. So yeah, that's what I'm doing. I'm mentoring a lot of agents in that area and growing my team as fast as I can.
Okay, so the agents that you mentor, do they have the opportunity to grow, to come under you on your team? Right?
Yep. So we have so there's 2 options. So we have one that newer agents that join the company, they can come over and I can just mentor them and they kind of go off on their own, or other agents that have seen my success, or just even just my personality in general, and think that they could connect well and do well, they'll come and ask me, and I get to mentor them as well as grow them on the team. So it's a win-win for everybody.
Okay, so tell me in that, because I think that last time we spoke, we talked maybe just briefly, but in mentor, or like in growing your team, is that where you see yourself really, kind of having a large team, being a team leader, maybe stepping out of sales like on a regular basis? Like what powerful moves are you making towards your future? And tell me what that's going to look like for you.
So definitely a 5-year goal. My 5-year goal is, and I don't know if I can ever step away 100% from sales, just because it's my baby, and I really, really do enjoy the reward that it gives me and my friends and clients as well. But ultimately, I want to be able to enjoy all this hard work that I've been able to put in and enjoy it with my family, going on months long vacations. That would be so great. Now, if I take a week long vacation, everyone suffers. Like it is not easy. So I'm learning again on how to be better at that.
Yeah.
But that's the ultimate goal, is that I want to be able to like have that time that I can get away. But my goal in general is to do my best for my family. Those are my goal. Like I want land that my whole family like we can do a family compound and like all move together on this big piece of property, and it would just, so those I guess are my goals.
Yeah.
And so if that's my goal, I can't be in the everyday workforce, trying to grow everything. So I need to grow my team and help as many people as I can. I don't know if that really answers the question, but
You did, yes and no. Here, I'll reflect it back because it makes it easier when we hear it back.
I like
So
it.
what I hear you saying is that you'll probably always do sales to some degree because you love it, but
Yes.
you'll learn how to nurture, lead, and grow other leaders on your team so that they can probably drive most of the revenue.
Yeah.
And then that's where your focus will be, so that you can go and be like, hey, everybody, pack your duffle bag.
Yes.
Because we're going to Italy for a
On
month.
our way. Exactly
Yeah.
right. 100%.
Right.
Yep. So that's where I want to see myself in 5 years. So
Okay.
this year has been the most successful in my career ever. And I think I shared with you, like, as far as 2024, it has been the most successful in every aspect of my life, in my relationships at home, in my fitness and health, and my career. So I feel like I'm kind of getting all these puzzle pieces together, and then I can start saying, okay, now that everything is kind of falling into place where I want it to be, I can go ahead and add another one, and that is going to be fully focused on growing the team. Right now, it's just kind of a side thing, but I want to add that puzzle piece in here real soon to really hone in on that part.
Yeah. So you said something about your relationships and your health. This is the best year. Tell me more about that. Like what is making it so great? And yeah.
Yeah. So, I mean, really just being at peace with my career in general. I feel like that had a lot to do with it, because I can wear my emotions on the sleeve. I'm an open book, literally. Everyone knows how I feel, but I can also mask it very well also. But being at peace with my career, to know that I don't have to bring all that heavy burden of it home, really, and bring it into the relationship. If I'm having a bad day, I just leave it at the door. And as being in real estate, it's a 24/7 gig, so I don't really get away from it. But knowing that, like, okay, I don't have to bring that into the relationship. And then we do date nights more often. We're spending more quality time. We cook dinner together. Yeah. We're going into the beach as a family. And like, when I'm with the family, I'm with the family. Like, I'm not
being
trying
very
to be
present and
I'm
intentional.
very present. So it's just those small little changes that I've intentionally made in myself and my career that I believe have made a big impact on just my life in general. And the 75 hard, which I know that you're going through as well, I started that on January 31st. I didn't complete it. I'll be super transparent. It's 52 days in, but man, that is a life-changing event to do, and I highly encourage everyone to do it. I'll be restarting it again, but it just redirects again everything in your life, and it's just putting everything in perspective and doing better for yourself. So health wise, that's where the health part comes in, because I wasn't heavy drinking, but I have a glass or two of wine a night, and then on the weekends we'd be on the boat and do whatever. But I haven't touched alcohol. I don't drink sweet tea anymore. I drink in a gallon of water still. I'm still reading. So that really implemented me being a better person as well. So being just conscious about what I'm doing.
Yeah, I love that. Being conscious and intentional.
Well, that too. That too.
Yeah, well, that too. But I think we get going so fast, right? Like, we're just moving. It does it now, like our thumbs up. And
I know, what was that?
It's like our phones have now turned into like,
I like it. That's cool.
Yeah, but we get going so fast. And then I was thinking about this as I was writing some content, and it's like, and then all of a sudden we don't take inventory, and then we have to go, oh, I've got to slow down and clean up some messes, or maybe I went too far down this path and I shouldn't have done. And so it's like, but that's part of this having, I think, a greater perspective, right? And that comes with, I think perspective comes through pain. Like, a lot of the time it's like, I love a lot of people's
Yeah.
perspective, but I'm like, but have you lived that? Because you know what I mean?
100%.
Yeah, absolutely.
I read this quote and I want to share because I kind of wanted to. I know it's kind of going back to a little bit of what we were talking about earlier, but it's in my 75 hard book, which I know that
Love it. I have
you
it too.
got
I
it
read
right.
it.
You
That
read
was the
it.
first
Okay,
book I read.
I'm telling you, and every page in here I have it bookmarked. But this one, it just says that real progress in life takes a whole lot longer to develop. Real life does not zip by rapidly, but it unfolds in a slow, steady progression that is awfully often painstakingly and painfully dull. And that to me, it was more of an eye-opening, like, okay, all this progress, because I want, if I'm going to do this, I want to know that it's going to work. And it doesn't always happen that way. You have to show up consistently and say, okay, I know this is going to work. And now I have a 5-year goal. And if I continue to do these X, Y, and Z, work on my relationships, work on my health, and work on my career, then at my 5-year goal, I'll feel like I actually achieved it. It's not going to be, it may be dull, it might not be exciting, it might not be pretty, but I know what I want and I know how to get there. So I think a lot of people, especially now in our society, they're expecting everything to be so clear, and I think that's a big I guess a big downfall. It's not always going to be clear. It's not always going to be easy and exciting. But if we have our goal and we know that what we're doing consistently is going to get us there, we just have to have trust,
Yeah.
pray about it, trust in God, as though you told me last night, and you'll get there.
I love that so much because, and I just love Andy.
Mm.
You know, I need someone that yells at me and keeps it real. Like
Same, yes.
you know, like that's how
Yeah.
I best learn. You know, I'm like, okay, got it.
hmm
And I think our society as a whole has gotten really soft, and
hmm
I think there's some, you know, jaded perspectives around growth, and we see things that it's like, oh, you know, for example, we get so much information at us, like I had this in this short amount of time. This happened in 2 seconds. This was like this and this. And we're getting so much information that we
hmm
almost don't even know who we are anymore. You know,
Ooh.
it's like,
hmm
and it's like through the slowing down, the dull, the mundane, you know, through the hard, you get to like that quote. It's like, you have to be able to sit with you and
hmm
like trudge
Yep.
sometimes, right? It's like, it's not always going to be this. And when it is good, I mean, God is good and we celebrate. But when it's not,
Yeah.
it's like being able to find that consistency. And for people that have, um, I I go back and forth with this word because some people identify and some people don't. So for people that have trauma, but let's just say for people that have anything subconscious going on,
hmm
the hardest thing for us to do is repattern into something that's uncomfortable. So slowing down for
Oh.
people that are, you know, that was like the biggest thing. And you'll hear about this tomorrow. But when I finally was like, oh, the problem with the coaching space and business coaches is that they don't really understand like your nervous system and your personal life. You know what I mean?
hmm
Like,
Yeah.
love my theory. Like, I feel like a lot of that
Yeah.
coaching is like shaming you into success, which was wonderful. I needed
Yeah.
that. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? But like,
hmm
this other side of like, hey, we have to unpack all this other stuff over here, and you need to understand who you are so that
hmm
when it is hard and when it is mundane, but you are achieving something greater, you're
Yeah.
going to be the 1% and not the 99. And so often too, we're taking in information from people we don't know. We're thinking they're the authority, and we're putting ourselves up against them when we have
hmm
no clue what's going on,
Yeah.
and whether they're going to be at their 5-year goal or they're winning their day, or if they're just out here, you know, selling the next
Oh my
thing. And so
gosh. Yeah.
it's important to know, or to be, I think it's important to be consciously always trying to discover who you are and what you want so
hmm
that you can stay the path, right? Instead of
I love
like,
that.
oh, because Andy, like, I listen to his podcast and he's like, he just like freaks out.
Yeah.
He's like, oh, these mother effers don't know anything. They know nothing, you
And you're
know?
like,
It's
you're
like,
right. You're right.
but it's true, right?
Yeah, it is, and you're right. It's funny because I think everyone has their own learning. They learn different ways, but I'm the same way as far as coaching goes. Anytime that I've ever hired a coach, I've just immediately go to them and say, I do love the fact that you're telling me I've done a great job, but it's not what I need to hear.
Yeah.
Because if you tell me I did a great job, I'm like, okay, so I'm doing better than most, so maybe I could give myself a little grace. I want to hear, okay, you're doing a great job, but why didn't you do this? And you could do this better, and we need to work on this part. Like,
Yeah.
again, it goes back to the whole survival mode that I'm trying my best to get myself out of. But I do like that hardness of just saying, hey, you're doing great, but
Yeah.
you can do more and you can do better. And that's just in every aspect of my life. I may be a great mother, but I can be more present. There's always something that I can do a little bit better. And that's something I definitely appreciate about Andy is he's
Yeah.
very difficult on people. And that's what I love. I think it's great.
Yeah. Well, I think there's a time and place. I had that like realization when I was working with my mentor as I was getting ready to, like, I had this huge pivot. I tell people like I've been in the meat grinder the last 18 months. It's like, okay, God,
Yeah.
let's, and coming out
Need
on the
some
other side.
positivity.
Yeah. I'm like,
Hmm.
but realizing the people that I want to surround myself with, they like honesty,
Yeah.
you know,
Hmm.
they want to be, I appreciate that. I appreciate someone just keeping it real. Like, it's just my demeanor. I make people uncomfortable when we'll get to meet in person sometimes, and I
Yes.
just have a
Soon, hopefully.
presence. Yeah. And like, I can't help it. I'm literally like, okay, people are uncomfortable,
Like, tell me
but other people that
more.
have that powerful presence, we lean into
Yeah.
that because we're like,
Hmm.
oh,
Yeah.
you're doing something different.
Yep.
Like, you're willing to just own who you are. And so, yeah, I love that too. It's like, I follow a mentor and she's like, can I love and then shove you? Because like,
Yes.
yeah,
It's tough. But I think you're spot on that is that those that want to do more and that are the high achievers, we do lean in on those situations because we want to know more. We want to know how you got there.
yeah,
We want to dissect the situation and say, okay, maybe I can do that as well. Or in my friendly competitive mind mode is I'm like, okay, I think I see you doing that, but I wonder if I can just do one better,
yeah,
and it's never, I don't want to say intentional, but it's never malicious. It's just in that brain of I always want to do a little bit more and do better. But as that high achiever, you're always leaning in. You're like, oh, tell me more about that. And whether it makes the other person feel uncomfortable or not, it's not intentional.
no, never. I'm always like, we either vibe or we
Yeah.
don't, but usually I don't I'm so like just locked into the moment that if
Hmm.
I usually I don't pick up on that with people
Yeah.
and me so much anymore because I'm just like, yeah, whatever. Okay, so let's move on. When you
Okay.
don't feel powerful,
Hmm.
when I
Yeah.
use the analogy, when we're like trying to drink water through a fire
Hmm.
hose, like it's just like, okay, too much life, too much. What do you do to get recentered?
Oh, great question. I've found that exercising helps. Like getting on the treadmill or going outside, that has really helped just my mind in general, because not only am I exercising, I'm kind of working through some things in my head without having to talk to anyone. Because I don't know if you've ever had a phone conversation while being on the treadmill, but it's nearly
Mhm.
impossible. So you have to be in your own thoughts and kind of work through it in those next 45 minutes. After that, immediately, I go sit outside and I just kind of decompress and I pray and I just try and I ask for wisdom to do whatever it is that I need to do next. And then I just kind of sit in silence. That is something that I've never honestly done very consistently until this year, until the 75 hard, because it was just I was always just feel so anxious, and I feel like if I don't go ahead and take care of this right now, then it's just going to bother me all day long, and I need to just go ahead and deal with it. And sometimes it's just not the answer. Sometimes you do have to just leave it alone for a second, not let it fester, but just know how to approach it when you come back to it. That was something I've never learned previously to this. I always just, like I said, when I attack the problem or when I just feel less of myself, try to fix it immediately there. It's not the way it always works out that way. So really just kind of removing myself from the situation, getting on the treadmill or just sitting in silence and praying, that has helped me gain that momentum back and kind of brought my focus back on, okay, how do I need to handle this? And so many times, like so many, again, since January 31st, that has been the big change for me. And I see it in all aspects of my life, so that's probably what I do in order to bring myself back to, okay, I am either better than that or I can do better, mentally and spiritually and all of that good fun stuff. So stepping away from the situation for a second.
Yeah, it's powerful
Mhm.
learning to pause,
Yeah.
right? And come back to ourselves is really super important. I love that 75 Hard has instilled that in you.
Hmm.
Showing up as a wife and mama, and I know that we're like over, so I'm gonna wrap it up here in just a
Okay.
second, but I could talk to you forever. Showing up
No,
as
this
a
is great.
wife and mama and
Mhm.
also a career person,
Yeah.
like what, you said you go on date nights, you're intentional. When you're with them, you're with them. But what do you think your work ethic or your vision does for your family? Because I think as visionary women, we're like really influencing those around us. So how
Oh,
do you
yeah.
think that impacts the people in your household?
So I think that, and it's funny that you bring this up. So my transaction coordinator, her daughter and my daughter are best friends, and my transaction coordinator, Cheyenne, we're best friends as well. So, but they're best friends. They've been best friends since they were in kindergarten. Something that she brought up to me the other day, and I'm not going to cry about it, but she said that my daughter had mentioned to her and her daughter that she just saw how hard I work and how much I dedicate myself to my career and how proud of how proud she is of me. And she's never, I don't think she's ever personally told me that. I think I know that, but she's literally the only reason that I am here because I wanted to do so well. And to hear that just last week, and I'm like going to get emotional about thinking
Get
about it right
emotional.
now. But that's exactly what I wanted, and
Yeah.
I don't think that we understand that, how many people are looking at us and watching us. And so we have to be mindful about what we say, how we do things, and how we react to things because we don't know who's outside, watching us. Um, but yeah, just that was it. Like that was my moment right there. It was just hearing it from someone that didn't even encourage that comment.
Yeah.
Yeah, I completely broke down on that phone call. I was like, because that
Oh,
was exactly what
there's
what
a
I
full
wanted to do.
circle
I mean,
moment.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was it was it. So yeah,
I love
I'm not
that.
gonna cry. I'm not gonna
Oh, well,
cry.
I'm a crier, so it's all good. I'm like, don't worry, if you need to, we'll just get it out. But I love that. I think that's so true. We don't realize how our perseverance, or, you said, like, I just wanted my daughter to be proud of me. And then for that to happen and come full
Yeah.
circle, I think it's just, it's those moments that make like learning that boring, mundane,
hmm
figuring out how to do things differently totally
Yeah.
worth it, right?
Yeah. And no matter what, I mean, I've always had the mentality, no matter what, I'm going to do this for me, for myself and my family. But now it is literally, that was like a more of a, okay, now I know that they are watching me, and I'll do whatever I have to for my family and to make a better life for all of us. And I feel like we've definitely done that, but there's always that I can do more. So
Yeah.
yes.
We can always do more. There's nothing wrong with
hmm
that. Okay, so we're going to end with this.
Okay.
What piece of advice do you have for somebody that maybe is looking at pivoting their career or starting something new, or maybe they're going to join, into real estate, but like somebody that's in that transition that's like, oh my gosh, it's a big, powerful move for them.
hmm
What piece of advice would you give them?
Something that I give everyone, and it's what changed my life. And it's finding someone that can be your mentor, someone that is like yourself, that it's going to be a coach, that is going to really show you, that's not going to look at you crazy about your dream and your aspirations, and it's going to say, okay, I love that you feel that way. Let's figure out how to do it together. Or just be there and to encourage, or even just seeing someone that you want to be like, that you want to implement, having them mentor you, or just being in their circle in general, like that's what they need to do. If you're looking for any kind of pivotal moment, find the person that you know that you can trust and that you want to be like, and have them mentor you in your life, because that is the most valuable thing. That it's the what is the word I'm looking for? It's just the secret to success, really.
Yeah. It's so true. I
Yeah.
can tell you every mentor has made the difference. It's
Mm-hmm.
not, it's been, and God has put mentors in my life that I had no clue,
Yeah.
they haven't always been paid, especially early
Yeah.
on, and then I started paying for coaching, but it's like, there's just been mentors that have been totally God given. And it's
100%.
like, when those people show up on your path,
Yeah.
hang on and
Yeah.
watch and ask questions.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's it. Yeah. So
Okay.
just finding the mentor. That's it. That's the biggest secret to success right there.
So tell everyone where you sell real estate, and if they ever want to buy, sell, lease, invest, where they can do that.
I like it. So I'm here in Myrtle Beach, South Carolina, and we actually service all the way from the North Carolina border, all the way to down to Georgetown, and all the way into Sumter, where they have Shaw Air Force Base. We cover a very large area. So, but Myrtle Beach, South Carolina is the heart of it. So you just call me if you need me.
Okay, great. And I thank you for taking the
Thank you
time.
so much
If anyone
for
watches
having
this,
me.
just we appreciate. I think we need more women that are
Hmm.
powerful, like and good-hearted, good faith, good valued women, and leading
Hmm.
by example. So thank you for showing up and doing that today.
Thank you so much for having me. I love you.
I love you too. I'll see you
All
tomorrow.
right, girl, sounds good.
Bye.